Hello, welcome to another Gundam version 2 video, and that is the Methuss Kai. And yeah, welcome to another Buffed or Scuffed. And if you guys aren't familiar with this series, basically at the end of every month, the devs will do what is called a unit adjustment. And they'll take a handful of suits from all the classes, and they'll either buff them or nerf them depending on the suit. And I take a look at some of these suits either interest me or interest a lot of people, and yeah, we'll see if they've been buffed or scuffed. And I know that sounds kind of silly where if a suit's been, buffed, I mean, obviously that would help out a lot, right? It's been buffed. But sometimes there's a suit where they'll buff them, but the buffs don't work out. Maybe they don't do enough for it, or maybe it just might actually just make it worse, like with the Gym Sniper 2 White Dingo, where that suit actually had the ability to move while charging its beam rifle, I believe, and somehow it made its win rate even worse. So yeah, that was definitely a scuffed moment. But yeah, we have the Methuss Kai here, and help accentuate how good the suit might be. I do have two matches here for you, and they're going to be me just doing some custom matches with some friends. I believe Taru and Clav mostly, and yeah, they're just basic little custom matches. Little fun match. I didn't do any super serious like rated matches or anything, because I know I've already seen. I've seen a lot of people already play this suit. I've already seen them in the spectator streams, and the suit looked very promising. So I just wanted to try it out, right? And yeah, let's get right into it. Now, the Methuss Kai itself, when it came out, it was a very bleh suit, right? It was very meh. I think I even mentioned my initial thoughts for this thing, like way back then. Even when it came out, it was okay. I even did like a meme like range damage, almost only range damage only, because the suit had the potential to do a lot of damage. Where you can either choose between a shrapnel bazooka as your primary, as the Z2's shrapnel bazookas, or you can swap out for the Haikushiki beam rifle. And they both did a lot of damage. Obviously the clay bazooka. The clay bazooka could do a lot of damage because it was ballistic. You fired two projectiles. I believe each shot did 1,300 damage, and yeah, obviously you combine those, you get pretty good damage. You'll see that during actually. I don't think I'm going to be using the bazookas, unfortunately. I'll be using the beam rifle. But I have seen it do like over 4,000, 5,000 damage. Really insane against certain suits that have low ballistic resistance, right? Which is pretty helpful because, sometimes at high cost, you'll have suits that don't have a lot of ballistic resistance, or people don't build for that, because usually beams are going to be things to worry about, right? Yeah, you also have the high mega cannon on your back. You can sit down to charge it up and fire it, do some massive damage, or you can just fire it normally while you're moving around. And you have to stand still to fire it, but it does give you a stun. It does a good chunk of damage. Combine that with your primary for a stun lock. That's basically what I did with it. You do have a flash grenade, but honestly, the flash grenades in this game are very hit or miss if they're the thrown ones, right? I believe like the best flash grenade in this game is the one that's on the Just a Cannon, because you can actually fire it like a regular projectile. But yeah, I don't like it with the thrown ones, right? I think they kind of suck. But yeah, there's that if you wanted to. And yeah, like the regular Methuss, the Methuss Kai can actually fly. And if you do fly the high mega cannon, you can actually charge it up all the way to actually get a heavy stagger, which is very, it does a lot of damage. It's very helpful for locking down somebody. Again, it's a heavy stagger, and you can fire everything else at them, right? If your teammates are there, they'll die even faster. So the only issue is that you're a support, so obviously you don't have shock dampeners when you're flying, like most flying suits. So if you're trying to fly towards somebody, you have to be really careful, because you can get shot down really easily. And in fact, the suit was so very after a while when it came out, that people recommended, like, oh, hey, you know what, they should probably buff this with shock dampeners, even though no other support, even if they feel like other supports shouldn't get it, they feel like this suit needed it, right? And yeah, this suit it was very just easy to say that, like, yeah, this suit needed a buff for a while, where, again, like I said, it was okay back then, okay. And now we have all these really good supports, or supports that have been buffed, like the Xanthos. Xanthos is really great. You also have stuff like the Angelos Zulu, no, the Zulu, the Angelos Zulu, right? Where that thing could just dish out so much damage and have other skills along with it, like balancers and whatnot. And I mentioned the Xanthos. Xanthos has all those like just stun options with it. Even back then, like the C1 had combos that could nearly kill generals, right? That it can technically still do nowadays, So why would you pick the Methuss Kai? You had the heavy stagger when you transformed, but obviously you had suits that can do that like without having to transform and risk getting shot out of the sky. So yeah, and to help show this off, really, I'm going to let the data here speak for itself, where if you look at the reference data, because whenever they do these unit adjustments, you can see the data for it. They leave them there for you guys to look at. The average support type win rate at 600 was 50.2. The Methuss Kai had a 44.7. That is really bad. They like to buff suits when they have 48 in win rates, right? 48%. This suit had 44. That is pretty bad. But however, if we look at the damage dealt, the average damage dealt was 70,000. This suit actually had a 68,000, so it wasn't too far behind in dealing damage, which is funny because I mentioned this suit can actually dish out damage if it was allowed to. Also, to actually add this in for shits and giggles, the win rate for the rival win rate for supports, the average was 47.9. This suit had 43.1. So, and we look at 650 because there's a level 2 of this. At 650, the average win rate was 50.7. And somehow the Methuss Kai actually did a little bit better, having 45.1, which is hilarious to think about. And then we look at the win rate, the rival win rate, which is, this looks very sad. Their average was 49, just flat out 49%. Yeah, this suit had a 40.2. Yeah, this suit was desperate. It really needed some help. So what did they do to buff this suit? First of all, they gave this a more buffers. First of all, the level 1 suit, first of all, the special leg buff for level 1 was increased to level 2. The shoulder buffer skill for level 1 was increased to level 2. The back add-on buffer level 2 was actually increased to level 3. And these were also up for the level 2 unit as well, where level 1 went to straight to level 3, didn't even go to level 2. The level 2 special shoulder buffer went to level 3, and the back add-on buffer stayed the same by giving it the level 3 same as level 1. So yeah, these will help out the suit in terms of just survivability, where now it has higher buffers. It is a support, like I said, so if you are standing still, just getting shot at a lot, that does help your survivability, which is fine, you take less damage. I believe a lot of those will be like minus 15% less damage. I think that's on the shoulder buffers. I don't remember exactly what the back add-on buffer is, but I imagine it has to be a little bit good, where because it's pretty big on the Methuss Kai. But yeah, now let's go on to what else they buffed about this suit. Which, by the way, there's not a whole lot they buffed about this besides the buffers. But yeah, everything else here, there's only 3 more things they buffed. The Z2 Clay Bazooka ×2 that we mentioned earlier, they actually changed the reload time. They shortened it from 18 seconds to 13 seconds. And they also increased the weapon switching time, or decreased it, my bad. So that's actually that's a really good chunk of damage off the reload just right away, where instead of 18 seconds, 13. So if you ever have to reload your weapons, you can jump to your other weapons, do some other stuff, come back to it, and hey, it'll probably be reloaded that time, which is great because, like we said, the Z2 Clay Bazooka does do a lot of damage. It's fairly nice to have that shortened reload time. And of course, the weapon switching time is also really great because, you want those to come out faster to stun people. So obviously, yeah, that's really great. And yeah, that's all they did for the primary weapons. And finally, they added a new sub-weapon for the suit in both mobile suit mode and transformation mode. The High Mega Cannon Rapid. And yeah, I got the stats here for you. Now, the regular version of it, in your mobile suit form, that does 800 damage per shot, and I believe it does a burst fire of 3. So you do a 3-round burst. It has a 30% heat rate, and it has 500 range, which is sniping range, which is pretty crazy. It takes all 3 of the burst round to get a stun, so you have stun accumulation. And since it has that 30% heat rate, I believe if you try to go for another burst fire once the cooldown wears out, you will overheat it, so you have to wait a little bit. But you do have other weapons to kind of like jump in between while you're waiting for that to get out of overheat, or more safe to fire, right? So you don't overheat. And yeah, that's actually pretty good. Having that ability to... Actually, I'm going to save that to when we go to the transform version of this as well. So the transform rapid fire of this, instead of doing 800 damage, it does 500 damage. The 30% heat rate does a 25% heat rate, and the range was actually decreased to 450. Now, overall though, this is actually a really fantastic weapon addition to this suit. It gets you a weapon you can fire either after a stun or to initiate a stun. It essentially helps the Methuss Kai do even more damage. I mentioned how, and it gave it more versatility. I mentioned how I gave this suit a kind of a range meme build back then. Yeah, that build makes the suit a lot scarier because when I do my rapid fire burst, I already mentioned I can do 8,000 damage just shooting somebody, normally with 2 of my stuns, right? Now, if I add on that rapid fire in between those stuns, that is 1,000 damage per shot. So that's an extra 3,000 attached to that. You can at least, depending on the person you're fighting, half health them, over half health them. You become a very dangerous, just weapon dealing monster. Now, the other good thing about this I mentioned is that the stun accumulation, it takes 3 of those 3-round bursts to get a stun, or it takes all the round burst, right? So you shoot somebody, they have maneuver armor, just regular old maneuver armor. You shoot them, they get stunned, and you can follow up immediately with one of your stun weapons. That is fantastic. Or, of course, if somehow you're panicking, you fire just your regular weapons first, and you go into the rapid fire, well, damn, that's probably going to be a stun already, too, as well. And somehow you manage to get technically speaking, since you do have the flash grenade, if you get the flash grenade, technically you have 3 stuns. You can hit the flash grenade, go into rapid fire, then go to your primary weapon, stun them with that, and then go to your high mega cannon and then stun them with that. And this goes the same for, you can't use your flash grenade in transformation mode, but in transformation mode you can use the rapid fire to get a stun accumulation to straight off the bat and then go to something else, right? Or maybe if you already, if you're going to use your heavy stagger, you heavy stagger somebody, well, hey, you had the rapid fire to follow up with along with your primary. It adds more versatility to the suit and makes it just infinitely more dangerous than it used to be. Where instead of just, okay, you have to watch out for 2 stuns, now it has this other option it can use against you to get that stun. Very crazy. You'll notice during these 2 matches that, yeah, you can just... It surprised me. I've already talked about this in some of the streams I've been doing where I'm watching people play this, like the spectator streams. It looked like it was already doing fantastic in terms of damage output. Like, it was just doing crazy damage. Yeah, I was surprising myself even more when I was playing. I was like, oh shit, what the fuck? This does so much, Really crazy. So yeah, to answer the question if this suit is buffed or scuffed, I just had to immediately just go with buff. That high MC rapid fire is like the shining kind of thing to this kit, right? What they added for the buffs. The leg buffers and all the buffers they did buff. That's nice to help with survivability wise. And the clay bazooka having a shorter reload time and shorter weapon switching is really nice. But man, having that new weapon in between, it just adds so much to the suit. Where now you have options that's not just instant stuns. You can actually you have stun accumulation stuff now. And of course, if you're doing damage build like I am, you can do over 1,000 damage per shot. And again, I said before, at the start of this video, where these aren't super serious matches. I'm just playing with my friends on in custom matches. But again, I've watched actual matches of people using this, and they are getting easy, like, just really great damage output, top damage, maybe even top individual because of how good they're doing. It's the step in the right direction for this for the Methuss Kai here, because it just needed something in between its firing, its stuns, right? And yeah, this is exactly what the doctor ordered, right? Now, I don't think though that it would be a suit it's not going to be the main suit I'll be playing though at 600. To me, the Xanthos is a little bit more valuable because you do have just crazy stuff on that suit. Potentially 4 stuns in a row. I said that Methuss Kai potentially has 3, but the flash grenade is really fucky. So I think I'd rather prefer the Xanthos. And of course, Xanthos has a quick turn, so you can actually absorb a stun, which is crazy for a support to do that doesn't have shock dampeners, right? Along with other stuff, high damage output. It can be a very, very great suit. But But yeah, the Methuss Kai is definitely not a terrible choice anymore. It can just, again, dish out just insane damage. If you've been watching, like, again, like I said, the meme builds I've been doing just paid off where, yeah, I can be doing my 8,000 damage, and then I can follow up with another 3,000, and just, it is crazy, crazy, right? But yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you want, I'd really appreciate it. And, you know, type up in the comment section how you feel about the Methuss Kai, or I should say the newly buffed Methuss Kai. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Yeah, this is pretty good. I think I like it. I can definitely see myself picking it every now and then, but in terms of like if I had to play like a serious match, I think I'd still go with other choices. But yeah, this is definitely a really nice choice. And if you really want to go for just like a I want you dead kind of build, this is definitely a suit that that will benefit from that kind of build, right? And it's very simple what they buffed on it. They only did like 3 major things overall, where they buffed the buffers, they buffed the bazooka, and they gave it a new weapon that you also use in transformation mode. So technically 2 new weapons, but you know what I mean. So yeah, all those Methuss Kai players that stuck around playing this suit, you know, they've been blessed pretty much. It's funny too because again, back when this suit came out, it was still like people even thought back then it was just it was okay, right? And it was suffering so much, and then they finally buffed it, and now they buffed it with very little, and yeah, it looks like a pretty scary contender for just killing you really fast. But like I said, there's still some supports I think I'd rather play, but yeah, I can definitely see in this being a monster in the right hands. If you know your positioning, all that good stuff. You combine everything this suit can do. You know, you had the flying heavy stagger. You can sit down and charge up your mega cannon for just insane damage output. Yeah, this suit can look very, very scary. But yeah, that'll be it, and I will see you guys later. Bye.